Ladies and gentlemen, after that horrifying loss against Crystal Palace and still feeling the effects of all the negativity towards that game, we now need to move on to another game that could potentially give a little bit of glimmer of hope for this club and for this team. Depending on which way we go, we could see a very, very positive or very negative Manchester United side in tomorrow's game for the EFL Carabao Cup, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about Manchester United versus Luton Town. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. Today we've got Manchester United versus Luton Town, the EFL Cup or the Carabao Cup, whatever you guys want to call it. Today we're going to be doing the match predictions where we go through my predicted starting 11 and giving my score predictions at the very end of the video. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below what is your match predictions for this Luton Town versus Manchester United game, and do you think that we can go very deep in this Carabao Cup tie as we are now focusing towards cup competition. Now, Manchester United is a team that should be going for every single trophy possible, and in saying that, we are still trying to focus on a Premier League as well as going into the EFL Cup, and we looked extremely tired against Crystal Palace. So there are two ways that I see this game going in terms of who is going to play for Manchester United. You have people on one side saying that because this club, before most of our players were extremely tired, they looked lackluster, they basically looked like they had no energy left in the tank, that we could be seeing a lot of rotation. We could be seeing a lot of our bench players that probably aren't good enough to start get a chance in this game, because this is a quality of side that we could potentially win with our B team. Or we could be thinking of it as this team was so bad that it needs to have more games to get better, and it just depends on which way you want to see it. Maybe the match fitness wasn't there. Luke Shaw said there was no preseason that Manchester United really had besides 1 week. A lot of teams had a much easier preseason, and we ended up struggling with only 1 week worth of preseason to really go off of. Now, it's not an excuse. In the end of the day, no loss to Crystal Palace is a good loss to take, preseason or not. I know the Premier League's tough, but in the end, we needed to perform a lot better in that game. So maybe playing a lot of our players that's played in the Crystal Palace game in this game and playing them against Brighton, we're getting a little bit more fitness, a little bit more of a, I guess, a better opportunity to win more games. Now, in my opinion, I'm a little bit mixed on all this, because there are some players that don't need to be in the team whatsoever, and there are some players that did just not look sharp, and maybe they should play in this game. So I'm going to give my starting predictions based on my opinions, my mixed feelings about it, because some players should definitely get another game in, and some players just should not be in the team whatsoever. And that could be harsh, that could be unacceptable for some, but in my opinion, that's just the way that I see it. Let's talk about Luton Town for a little bit. As far as I know, they're a championship side. I did have to do a little bit of research on them coming into this, because I'm not going to lie, I don't know anything about them, and I still really don't. All I know is that they beat Derby last week. The championship is a very tough thing, and we've lost to Derby several times, so they could potentially cause us problems. I don't see this game being particularly difficult, but in the end, it may be tough because they don't seem like a very good attacking side. At the end of the day, I'm not really focused on what Luton are going to do against us. I'm more worried about what we're going to do as a team against them, because in the end, we are extremely inconsistent, and a lot of our players will be coming into this game extremely down on confidence. And if Luton do somehow manage to beat us in this Carabao Cup and we get eliminated this early, this is only going to add fuel to the fire of so many negative things that are coming towards Manchester United in many, many directions as well. Shots are being fired left, right and centre. Comes to transfers and the owners and the players and the coach. Everybody's pointing their fingers at someone, and at the end of the day, it's going to keep on happening if we don't get wins. And this game, regardless of a win or a loss, probably won't do much, because it's the EFL Cup at the end of the day. Yes, we should be winning this cup, but it's not a cup that's really a priority for anybody, for any team really, unless you're a lower team side that this is the only cup that you compete in. So at the end of the day, this is a team, and this is a cup that maybe we should just focus on getting the win and getting out, and getting some people extra match fitness and getting some people a rest. So let's go into the starting lineup with that being said. In goal, there's only two people in mind that I could see playing in goal. Sergio Romero or Dean Henderson. I'm going to pick Dean Henderson. But at the end of the day, whoever plays in goal for this game is going to be extremely telling of what the future lies for both goalkeepers. If Sergio Romero does play in this game, then there's potential that he will not be moving wherever he goes. Apparently the Aston Villa deal broke down. Of course, there'll be still more clubs interested in a goalkeeper like Sergio Romero, a very talented goalkeeper. Definitely could do a backup role anywhere else. But at the end of the day, if he starts, then I don't see him leaving because there's going to be game time for him here. And maybe Dean Henderson is the one that goes on loan. But I'm picking Dean Henderson because I really think that Sergio Romero will not be here this season for the remainder of the season. And if he stays and he gets absolutely no game time, it's only going to be a matter of time, whether it's this transfer window or January or even anywhere else. There's going to be a team that wants Sergio Romero. So I'm going to pick Dean Henderson. He needs to play at the end of the day. We're not going to keep him just for not playing him whatsoever. That's going to really degrade his career. So I think that he should be playing. Going into the right back position, I've gone with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I have no idea whatsoever why he did not play against Crystal Palace, but he didn't, and that's his home. That's his former side, man. I'm pretty sure he would have loved to play it in that game, but he didn't play, and I have no idea why. And I'm gonna hope that there's nothing seriously wrong with him. No one's really said anything about his injuries, if he has any. I personally think he's extremely fatigued and he's still tired, and if that's the case, then his fitness won't be there. And that's why I think he didn't play. And maybe he doesn't play today because of that same reason. I really think, because to me, he was running on empty. And a month maybe doesn't resolve that issue. Maybe he needs just a little bit more time off. I'm not sure what's going on with Wan-Bissaka, but hopefully he plays. Hopefully he does well. And I don't know. I think we need him out there. I really think our defense was an absolute shambles. And maybe Wan-Bissaka changes that. Maybe putting Fosu-Mensah at centre-back would change that. I don't know. There's so many solutions that we need to think about at Manchester United to resolve that defence that it's not funny how bad our defence was, man. It really isn't. Moving on to the centre-backs, I've gone with Eric Bailly. And to be honest, it's either him or Phil Jones because I 100% do not believe Victor Lindelof should be playing. He needs to get dropped. It was a poor performance. He could end up playing against Brighton and have everything go back to normal. But at the end of the day, whether he needs a rest or whether he just needs to know that his performance was bad and he gets punished for it, whatever it is, man, I think tough love needs to be happening here, and I don't see him playing in this game. Or if he plays in this game, he gets dropped against Brighton. That's the only way I see this happening, because he deserves to get dropped. I even think he knows that. It's not something that is not common knowledge. I think everybody that has spoken about Manchester United this week has said to stay away from Lindelof for this game and potentially for the Brighton game. I don't know, man. We need a centre-back. It's as simple as that. We need a centre-back that's healthy enough to actually stay throughout the remainder of the season, because Tuanzebe and Eric Bailly and Phil Jones and potentially we're selling Chris Smalling and Rojo, these centre-backs either are not good enough or cannot stay healthy. So this is why we need a centre-back. And Manchester United really need to really figure out their priorities, because at the end of the day, it's a big problem, and we're not going to get anywhere unless we improve it. And it's sad because Ollie spent a lot of money on that defence, and we're still back where we started. Moving on to the other centre-back position, I've gone with Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire never gets benched. It's as simple as that. If he gets benched here, I would be surprised. Last season is the only thing I'm going based on with that. I have never seen Harry Maguire get benched when he's fit. And I don't see it happening now. Of course, there are obviously issues going on with him in terms of the incidents that have happened with him in the off-season. And if that's the case, then maybe he does get benched. Maybe he does need time to reflect and think and hopefully get over what was a tragic experience for him. But until it's come out and has said that, I don't see him not playing. So Harry Maguire, in my opinion, will be starting. And in the left-back position, I've gone with Luke Shaw as well. Luke Shaw, in my opinion, was an up-and-down performance last week. I feel like a lot of people really didn't like Luke Shaw's performance, but I do think there were a lot of positives there. I mean, at the end of the day, if you put Brandon Williams in that position, would have he done any better? And I don't think so. I think a lot of what Luke Shaw's weaknesses were based on the entire defense alone, and he's kind of being in that area because of the defense was poor. Luke Shaw has to be poor as well. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think Luke Shaw was bad, but he probably needs some game time as well. I mean, if you think about it, he didn't have the end of the season. This guy's had 3 months off. Realistically, obviously recovering from an injury, but he's had 3 months off. He had only a week's preseason. In my opinion, Luke Shaw is one of the only people that you could possibly say, get him in the team and let him play as many games as possible, because I really think Luke Shaw is probably the one that needs it the most, because he's had a lot of time off, and with time off comes a lot of lackluster performances, potential rustiness. You have to play him, and I do think Luke Shaw will play in this game. Again, Brandon Williams could play. I don't mind if Brandon Williams plays, to be honest, but I really think that Luke Shaw needs to be the way to go. Going into the CDM position, I've picked Fred. I don't know why Fred doesn't play. I'm seriously getting frustrated with the way that Manchester United are handling the CDM position. You had 2 capable CDMs in Matic and Fred that are actually very good CDMs, and that could do jobs for us, and that could actually get forward and come back and know what to do in that position. I've always said Scott McTominay has elements of being a CDM, but that doesn't mean you put him in there, put him in the crossfire, and allow him to get burned and then potentially ruin all of those aspects. That's not should be the case. Scott McTominay should be coming off the bench as the CDM, or even a centre mid. Whatever you want to think, let him develop that game. Don't put him in the crossfire, because he's clearly not ready for that. And we ended up paying for that. That CDM position was a big miss against Crystal Palace. So Fred or Matic needs to step up in that position. If you play Scott McTominay there again, we could be seeing the exact same performance we saw against Crystal Palace, against Luton Town, and against Brighton. So we need to really fix our priorities. Everybody loves Scott McTominay. I love Scott McTominay. Majority of the Manchester United fans love Scott McTominay, but he's clearly not the answer at the moment at that CDM position. We need to prioritize where we're going to play, who we're going to play, and allow other players to develop into their roles. And Scott McTominay needs to develop into his role. But putting him in the crossfire was not the right answer, and I don't want to see that again. Otherwise, this season could very well be a very damaging one for him. And that's not what we need at the moment. Going on into the centre mid position, I've gone with Donny Van De Beek. And the reason why is I don't think Paul Pogba is really healthy at the moment. We put him in the crossfire again, and he failed to deliver. So in the end, I think he needs a little bit of break. I think we need him for Brighton. I don't think match fitness is the issue with him, because we've seen when Pogba's healthy and he's playing well, he plays every game. So in my opinion, let him get healthy. Let him really recover from this. Allow him to train. Maybe he gets some game time off the bench. I'm not saying he doesn't play at all. But starting, I really think we need to see Donny Van De Beek play. There's no reason why he can't be starting in this game. He's got a goal against Crystal Palace. The only positive out of that game to ever come out was Donny Van De Beek's goal. And we've seen him play well in the preseason. He's one of those players that actually played in the preseason. And if we're going to trust him in situations where we need to give rest to our players, this is the game to do it. Put him in this game. Let's see how well he does. This should be a shoo-in game for him. He should be doing extremely well. But if he doesn't, at least we have someone that is capable of being a backup or being in a position where he starts where other players are in need of a rest or are injured. That's what Van De Beek should be for us. And I really think that he should start this game, and I think he will start this game. Going into the cam position, and I know what you guys are thinking, I'm not going to pick Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes is probably going to be benched this game as well. I'm picking Juan Mata. And the reason why is Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, it's not match fitness that made him, at least in my opinion, it's not match fitness that made Bruno Fernandes relatively bad. I think the attackers made Bruno look a little bit worse than what he was in that game, because at the end of the day, the attackers were the ones that didn't look sharp. Dan James, all the effort, he had a lot more of the ball than the other 2 players in Rashford and Martial, but his crossing and his delivery from that right-hand side is just not as good as where he was on the left. So he made Bruno look a little bit bad. Martial barely got the ball in the second half. He made Bruno look worse for wear. And Rashford just has been out of form for a long time. Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, did not have a terrible game against Crystal Palace, and he gave a lot of effort. I think Bruno Fernandes is match ready every single game. And maybe that's the mentality speaking, but I just think that maybe he deserves a rest. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't need to play in this game. If he does play, I'm more than happy to say I'm happy Bruno Fernandes plays. But I think Juan Mata in this type of situation is why we have Juan Mata. It's why we have Jesse Lingard. It's why we have Andreas Pereira. And yeah, a lot of those players are not good enough. I don't want Andreas Pereira to play. Jesse Lingard, I don't really, the roof's still up on him. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with Jesse Lingard. I don't necessarily want him to not play, but I don't really want him starting either. So therefore, you pick Wan-Bissaka. And I think Wan-Bissaka has a role in this team. And the role in this team is to beat opponents that he's the level of. And I'm not saying he's the level of a Luton Town, but I'm definitely think he's more than above the level to perform very well against a side like this and create those passes against a team that's probably going to park the bus, similar to what Crystal Palace did against us. And going into the attackers, I think the attackers should be the best attackers that we have. I'm going to pick Mason Greenwood on the right wing. Again, he came on at halftime and he looked very, very good. He needs some match fitness. He barely got any time for England. I know people were saying that he needed a rest. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying that he needed a rest. At the end of the day, he needs match fitness as well. And maybe he gets his rest. I don't know. He seemed to get a whole half of rest in the first game. And we saw how much we needed him in there, so we basically put him in a halftime. We saw Marcus Rashford needs match fitness, dude. Literally, we need Marcus Rashford to score a goal. Just any goal. I don't care if it's a penalty, a free kick. I don't care if he's just running into the goals and he headbutts it in. Literally, I don't care. Marcus Rashford needs a goal to kick things off for him, because really, he's been out of form for so long now, and it's getting really upsetting to watch. And I want him to do better. You know, obviously, at striker, I've gone with Anthony Martial, who, in my opinion, needs the most match fitness. He did not look sharp at all. He looked basically non-existent out there. And we really need him to perform at his best capabilities. And maybe getting a goal. He's always a confidence player, Martial. Getting a goal in a game like this could potentially help him progress and score more goals in the Premier League. And that's the team. I think there's a little bit of mix and match. Some players that need match fitness will play. Some people that need a rest will sit out. That's where I think this team will go. It's very difficult because honestly, I have no idea what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is thinking in his mind about this game. I don't know if he's going to go strong. I don't know if he's going to go weak. I don't know if he's thinking rest or play. Who knows? But this is the team, and I think this team is more than capable of beating Luton Town. Again, they can cause issues. We could potentially be seeing a penalty shootout in this game with the amount of defense that they play. But this is the type of situation Manchester United need to do better in. When teams park the bus against us, when teams decide to sit back, clear all the gaps, we need to be able to score a goal, or to score 2 goals, or to end up winning the game in general. I don't care how many goals. We need to win that game. I'm picking Manchester United to win 2-0. It's as simple as that. If we lose this game, we're already going to see the toxicity for Crystal Palace and move on to this game. And if we win this game, nothing's going to change because it's not the Premier League. We are focused on the Premier League at the moment. We want to do well in the Premier League. We want to actually prove to people we deserve to be in the top 4 and we want to progress. And obviously, things are not turning out that way from the start. We're playing catch-up. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, no, and Chelsea did end up losing to Liverpool. But we are playing catch-up with a lot of these teams. We're 3 points behind a lot of these teams. And some teams, we are 6 points behind. That's not a good start under any circumstances, and we need to be better. So that's going to be this match predictions. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, please like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments below your match predictions. Let me know if you, in the comments below, do you think that we should be playing some youth players as well? Obviously, Mengi's been a big talking point for Manchester United. A centre-back, clearly Lindelof needs to be dropped. There's a clear element of, let's give him a chance in this game. There's obviously more. But there's a lot to discuss, and there's a lot of things that could happen in this game. Some for the best, some for the worst. Hopefully Manchester United come out of this with a victory, advancing into the next round, and we'll see where things go from there. Take care.